lift heavy, sleep, and repeat. We call that our life cycle, made a shirt about it, and it rings true with who we are as a podcast and a group. We are fortunate enough to have partnered with a company who can help us achieve one of those three key elements: Som Sleep. They have a keto-friendly version of their delicious sleep aid drink, and we're loving it. It's a lightly flavored 8-ounce anti-energy drink. You drink it roughly 30 minutes before you're ready to go to sleep, and you'll feel it help you into a deep, restful, all-night sleep. It provides some helpful elements to do so, including magnesium, GABA, and melatonin. When combined, you have a powerful tool for getting the impactful sleep that you and I so frequently don't get in our technology-driven, fast-paced lives. You can find it at some retail stores, but you can also purchase it online and get it shipped to your door. When you do, use discount code TKMC10 and you'll not only be getting 10% off, but you'll be helping support the Keto Man's Club. You can find the link to their website by going to theketomansclub.com. We're thankful to Som for partnering with us, and we hope you'll benefit from use of their product the way we have so far.
Hello and welcome to the Keto Man's Club podcast.
We're glad you're here, where each week we talk about men's health and lifestyle.
We do so with the foundation of the ketogenic diet and lifestyle.
If you don't know what keto is, stick around and you'll find out.
The podcast will bring you real, honest fun.
Each week we strive to uncover the tips and tricks that you can use in your everyday life to maximize your overall health.
Find the clearest path to becoming the best version of yourself that you were meant to be. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Keto Man's Club podcast. My name is Chris. I'm one of your hosts, and as always, I'm joined by Jim and Alberto. How's it going, Jim?
Life is good, sir. I'm very over this COVID thing. I'm over the spikes. I'm over masks. I'm over hand sanitizer that is more of like a body wash than just a hand scrub kind of thing. But, you know, we're making it through. So I'm hanging in through the end of 2020 and hoping for much better health and happiness and all good things in 2021.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not my expectations aren't so high, but I'm hoping. Let's just say that.
Sure.
You know what they say, always keep your expectations low. That way you're never disappointed.
You know what they also say about assuming that it will be that way too.
Fair point.
Yeah, so I'm good, Chris. Thank you.
Okay, good to hear. As long as you are healthy, that's the large thing, and that's actually being proving from knowing what we know that there was a potential there, and so the fact that you're healthy is good.
Knock on wood, yes, sir.
Yeah, very much so. Berto, what's going on with you?
We got some weather down here, real weather.
Yeah,
it got to a blustery 33 degrees for about 4 hours.
For about 4 hours, exactly.
Yeah. That's bathing suit weather in Indiana in December.
Yeah. Down here, that's a legit gloves, hat, scarf, and down jacket weather. not for me, but it's hilarious when you go out and about and you just see everybody like bundled up like it's negative 30 degrees. You're like, man, it's not that. I mean, it's cold for here, but relatively, it's not cold.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, very much so. It was one of those mornings where I did not want to get out and take the trash to the curb for the trash people, but things have to happen. So
So you put on your scarf and your down coat.
No. I just put on my hoodie. I was barefoot with shorts and a t-shirt on, but hoodie. That's all I needed. It's nice having grown up in Kansas City to feel what we're feeling here in Austin. Be like, okay, this is pretty much the worst that we're going to get. It's all good.
Yeah, it makes you appreciate it more. And it's funny because now when it gets to like 40, I have this big giant jacket that work gifted me like 2 years ago. It's like this big, huge Carhartt that like they handed it to me. I'm like what? Oh, I'm going to wear this like twice a year. I'm like, gee, thanks. That's awesome. So like anytime the weather approaches 40, I wear that jacket because that's really the only opportunity I got.
Yeah, you might as well. Very cool. Well, let's do our reminder to our listeners real quickly, get that out of the way, and then we'll get into shout outs here real quick. I don't think there's any real business to attend to. The way that you can connect with us, should you want to, is you can go to our website, theketomansclub.com, and very easily be able to connect with us whether it be through our Facebook group, our Facebook page, really anywhere. You've got all the links there for Instagram and everything else. So theketomansclub.com. You can also call or text, leave a voicemail at 512-518-6161. You can also email us at ketomansclubpodcast@gmail.com. So we're very connectable, as you can tell. We would also request that if you think that this episode, the story that we're about to hear with Danny and others that we've had in the past, if you think there's value in them, that someone that might benefit from having it, if you would share that episode or this episode with them, it helps get the word out a little bit, but then it puts us connected with more people, and we're seeing more and more people every single day joining the group, and they cite the podcast, and that's really exciting to see, because it's really there's really something there for sure. So very, very happy to see that type of growth. So let's get into shout outs real quick. Berto, let's start with you.
Main group posted 5 hours. No, I take that back. Posted 6 hours ago. A Travis Lillard, 110-pound difference. Before pictures wearing a dress shirt and tie. You can tell he's a bigger dude. After picture, he's in a sweater, a hoodie, and huge noticeable difference in size. And what I really liked about this post was there was a little context he added to it. He said, "This is what 110 pounds down looks like. Repeatedly clench your fist and visualize everything you want, then repeat these words out loud. They can't stop what's meant for me. They can't stop what's meant for me. Everything you're wishing and grinding for will collide with reality. Be prepared. Your time will come." I like it.
Yep. I like that too. Jim?
My shout out is going to Mark Derail, who, as I'm looking up his formal Facebook profile, he's got it fairly locked down. So my guess is, like the vast majority of the men in the group, he's probably in Texas, but that's okay. We won't, call him out for that. But Mark has dropped 65 pounds over about 16 months. He wrote Prolonged Fast and 20-4 routine helped getting to the target weight in the last 2 months, meaning he did intermittent fasting, 20-hour break, and then a 4-hour window to eat. Hashtagged keto over 50. And pretty remarkable to see the progress the guy has done, for sure. So kudos to one of our newer members, Mark Derail, for dropping 60-some pounds over the last year and 4 months or so.
Very, very cool. Definitely some awesome results that need to be celebrated. Another result, and this is one of our guys that did the Carnivore Keto Cut with me and several others. We here in the last couple months, Justin Zuck, he didn't give me any numbers, but he posted on the Transformation Tuesday, and you can definitely tell there was a lot of leaning out that happened. The love handles are a lot smaller than they were at one point, and he's just showing off some really good results there from that. And for those that are interested, there's still time to join the New Year's Carnivore Keto Cut that we're going to start in January. It'll be a cool program to be able to go through. If you want more information, feel free to reach out to me, or I believe Jason Thompson is kind of acting as the semi-organizer of our group chat here. And so we've got some cool stuff going on and get ready in January. So if you're interested, tag me, reach out, message me, and I'll get you connected and whatnot, because it's a cool program if you've been keto for a while and you're looking to go the next level. That's for sure. Okay, so I think that's all the business that we have. Anything else that we need to talk about? All the merch stuff is out in people's hands. We're starting to see people posting pictures, and we're enjoying to get to see the new gear being shown off. That's always good.
Yeah, we had several guys that put stuff up on Instagram and on Facebook, and we did a couple posts on both about things. So kudos to everybody that's gotten involved. And yeah, even our Canadian friends have been fortunate enough to get some swag up there as well. So glad to see it. That we've gone fully international.
Yep.
I think we've had listeners on 6 out of 7 continents, and I think that was one of those, but I'm trying to confirm that. So, I feel like I saw at one point that we were hot way down south.
I haven't looked at that information in quite a while. I'm actually going to pull it up here real quick just to see if it gives me a quick answer.
It should, and the download number is getting impressive as well.
Yes, it is. We're definitely seeing some good download numbers on a week-to-week basis, but just in sheer mass, the numbers of the downloads overall is quite high. So that's really good. We definitely have some listeners in South Africa, which is pretty cool, and Chile, it looks like, Australia and New Zealand. There's only a few parts of the map that don't have some type of something lit up. So that's really cool. That's really cool to see. Sadly, I don't think we've reached Iceland, which is sad because I've been to Iceland. It's a beautiful country.
Well, you need to go back and listen to a podcast.
Yes. And then yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat. I went during summer last time, so it would be a completely different experience this time. They have no daylight whatsoever right about now.
So imagine the sleep you'd get.
Yeah, and I didn't sleep much when I was there in the summer because it was daylight almost all day. Okay, very good. So let's go ahead and dive in with our chat here with Daniel. Daniel, welcome to the show. Or Danny, sorry, thanks. Danny.
No worries either way. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
we're glad to have you, Steve.
That works too. Just don't call me late for my steak.
Yeah, that's good. Yep.
Good man.
So, Danny, get us started here a little bit. Give us an intro to who you are, kind of where you are in the world. Give us some background, not necessarily health stuff, but get us started a little bit.
Right on. Okay, so my name's Danny Bernhardt, and I live in the beautiful state of Missouri, down in the southwest corner. A lot of people have heard of it because that F5 tornado that went through back in 2011. Joplin's where I'm from. Let's see. Lived in Kansas City for a while. Missed the barbecue.
Yeah. I know a thing or two about Kansas City barbecue, so totally.
You've talked about it once or twice.
Yeah, just a time or two.
Yeah, and it's totally different than Texas barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've talked about that once or twice too.
But the best is Indiana barbecue.
That's right.
Everybody knows that.
We've never talked about that before, though. So
liquid smoker microwaves.
I can already feel where this show is going. Danny, how old are you?
I'm 38.
You sound very young. I will say that.
Yeah, I get that a lot. And honestly, I get ma'am through the drive-thru quite a bit, but I always tell them I'm the hairiest ma'am you've ever seen.
That's funny.
Wow. I don't know that I would say that, but okay.
Yeah, I don't get it either, but I mean, it is what it is, I guess.
They were like, oh, it's that heavy smoker again.
Oh, man. And what do you do for a living, Danny?
I do outside sales for a uniform company.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so you guys were talking about cold calling earlier, and that's 100% what I do.
Hell of a man you are.
I bet with COVID and everything, that's made your job so much easier this year, huh?
Oh, so much easier. Yeah, I walk up to factories and restaurants and basically anything with a front door and can't seem to get in here lately.
Yeah, that would be interesting. So tell us a little bit about we'll start to transition into health stuff a little bit. What was it like? Did you struggle with health growing up, or was this something that kind of developed over time?
No, I've always been quote unquote husky. Had to shop in that special section, and I partied in my 20s. And then let's see, bad marriage, divorce, lots of weight, more partying, lived life. And then got with my now wife, and we had a kid and went to the doctor, and the doctor said, hey, you need to slow down if you want to be in her life much longer.
Ouch.
So, yeah, talk about rude awakening.
And how old were you when that happened?
Oh, that was only like 4 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's actually what made me start looking at different ways of getting my health in check, and stumbled upon keto. And I was like, I can eat steak. I can do eggs, and I can do this. And started doing some research, and it's sort of counterintuitive though from everything you've ever learned. And so you sort of have to unlearn. But 2 months into it, I was down 25 pounds, and I'm like, hey, this might be something to keep working on.
What is this black magic?
Exactly.
So back it up just a notch. And how did you stumble across or find keto?
Honestly, I just started Googling diets. And then,
All right.
yeah, I mean, I'm a Google fiend. So I just started Googling diets. And since I do, well, at that time I was doing sales and service for a company called Ecolab. And I was in my car constantly, probably 10 hours a day I was driving. And so I was always looking for podcasts, and I'd type in diet podcast or weight loss podcast or health podcast. And I actually stumbled upon it was called Two Keto Dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that was sort of my entry into the keto world.
Yeah, that was one of the podcasts that I found early on, and Richard had this was still, while Richard was on it. I'm not sure at what point you got into it. Probably when Richard was still on it on a regular basis. They had a great way of being able to keep things really down to earth and understandable, but dive into the science and all of that.
Yeah, and I think that's what really sold me on the keto diet was listening to them. They broke it down and made it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But way deeper than just, hey, try it and it works.
Yeah. I really appreciate that they start with a simple explanation of what keto is. And we don't do that too much on our podcast because, again, we're not very partisan. We don't have a specific plan or methodology. We kind of do different things, or our group isn't, one methodology only. But that was one of those things that helped me. It gave me a simple guidepost to aim for, basically. So what was it like? So when you got started, what did you find that surprised you?
Honestly, how fast the weight just dropped off. And at that time I wasn't going to the gym. I had a fairly physical job. I carried around a backpack full of tools and walked through hospitals and restaurants and hotels and stuff fixing machines, but that was about the only exercise I had, and I was getting just awesome results.
And so were you still doing the 10-hour day driving kind of thing at that time as well?
Yeah, I covered a huge territory. I don't know how familiar you are with the area, but from Fort Scott, Arkansas up to Fort Smith, Kansas, Nevada, Missouri, and then like all the way over to just outside of Tulsa and past Springfield on the east.
So you were a poster child for fast food, I would imagine.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and I think that's part of what got me to where I was, because I mean, I don't know if you guys have, actually, I know you guys don't have Casey's down in Texas, but Casey's, stop by and grab
gas station?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, their pizza is where it's at.
Is it? I've seen the gas stations, but I've never had their pizza. So,
man, their breakfast pizza, here's the fat boy coming out, but I mean, it's sausage gravy, scrambled eggs, and cheese over all of it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. So, and again, talking about all this and everything, give us some stats about you, height and weight, and don't give us the now, but at that point in your life, what were you?
So I'm 5'8", and when the doctor told me I needed to figure something out, I was around 310 pounds.
Okay.
So about as wide as I was tall.
And obviously with driving, number one, you're not getting exercise there. Two, you're not in a job that gives you an opportunity to really exercise or anything like that. So how did you feel? I mean, did you feel like, oh my Lord, I keep growing? Or did you feel like you were doing pretty good for where you were at the time? How were you feeling physically?
Sick. I mean, tired, ran down.
Yeah.
When I'd get home, I never wore jeans. I always put on my sweats. I cut my sleeves off all my shirts when I'm at home. So sleeveless shirt, and I didn't have go out clothes. I had work clothes and I had sit at home clothes.
Okay.
So,
Did you want to go out?
yeah, I mean, we still did because it was, fairly new in our marriage and stuff, but it wasn't, I don't know, I just wasn't comfortable.
Yeah.
And
I was wondering if you were going to say that you'd cut out the shirts because you didn't want to go out. So would say, oh no, honey, I'm staying home and we're getting Casey's Pizza for dinner tonight because, I got the cut off t-shirt kind of thing.
No, not at all. But usually to go out and have fun and be comfortable, there was usually copious amounts of alcohol involved too. So
got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No shame in that. But you know what? You got to go through what you got to go through to get where you are today, right? I mean, looking back,
oh, for sure,
probably not the greatest decisions you made, but yeah, I mean, you're here, and now you know better, and you've been through that experience. So now it's completely 100% up to you, and it's in your hands. Like if you decide you want to go out and get a bunch of drinks, so that you've been there, you've done that, you know what the consequences are, so you almost can make a better informed decision.
Definitely. I'd say one of the, I don't know if it's positive or negative side effects of keto is the lack of hangover.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Now, don't get me wrong. If I tie a good one on, it's there, but it's not nearly what it was whenever we'd hit Taco Bell on the way home and then, do it up the next morning with every greasy food you could put in the frying pan and, so.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
So where was your moment of, holy cow, I have to do something? I mean, you talked about going to the doctor and everything, but where was your moment that started things? Was it that moment with the doctor or something else?
Well, I mean, I have a family history of like heart disease. My grandpa died at 42. So I knew I had to do something just because of family history. And then when the doctor told me, hey, you might want to do something or else your daughter's not going to have a father, I was like, oh, yep, definitely got to do something.
Yeah.
So I'd say the doctor was the biggest turning point, and then coming home and talking to my wife and got pretty emotional about it and said, hey, I'm starting today. Here's what we're doing. So
and that was that, huh? Ready to go from that point?
Yeah, pretty much.
How did
so did you like flip the switch on the keto, or did you just kind of throw yourself into it and let it sort itself out as you go?
I would say I was very like dirty keto, getting used to it. Oh, this says it's low carb, and I tried Atkins way back in the day, so I had a sort of a grasp of what low carb meant, but not necessarily what being in ketosis meant. So, yeah, we went and bought a lot of hamburger and threw away a lot of Oreo cookies.
So what did your wife and family do in reaction to this major change? Were they supportive? Did they question it? There's a lot of people that have that whole, I'm have that whole fat is bad thing. So what was the reaction around you?
Well, I do all the cooking at the house, so the wife had no choice. But yeah, it took a little bit to get my parents to realize, hey, I don't, when I get a hamburger, at the lake, I don't need the bun with it, make one without the bun. Because I always like to put the bun on, cheese melts all on it. Yeah, it's all good stuff, but I don't need it. But yeah, the wife was definitely on board from day one. She's actually been keto with me the whole time.
Did she have weight that she wanted to lose as well, or did she just join in to be a supporter?
Well, hopefully she's not listening, but yeah.
Well, next question.
No, I mean, yeah, she wasn't where she wanted to be either. So, I mean, she's.
That's a good way to put it. Good way to put it, Danny.
Yeah. But yeah, she's. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, super proud of her too, because she's, having a kid late in life makes things a little bit more difficult. And she's 15 pounds down or 15 pounds away from goal weight, which was like high school senior weight.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And yeah,
Oh, that's amazing.
for sure.
So your method works. Your cooking works.
Right?
That's the biggest takeaway there. So how long have you guys
Yeah.
been keto now?
3-ish years. Yeah. We've fallen off fallen off the wagon a few times, but never longer than like a week. And just feel like crap when you fall off. So we always jump right back on.
What's been when you talk about feeling bad? What's been the biggest noticeable change for you physically? I mean, not the weight wise, but we've had guys that have talked about being able to, their knees didn't hurt or they don't pop and crack like they used to. Have there been a couple things where you're like, holy cow, I never thought that I wouldn't feel that ever again?
Actual physical feelings, not really, but becoming less hypertensive was definitely a
Sure.
huge reward.
Was that something that you dealt with for a while?
I've been on some sort of blood pressure medicine since I was 23. Yeah.
Now the blood pressure medicines and things like that they had prescribed, were they purely preventative because they knew your family history, or were they actually seeing biomarkers that caused them to wonder, to worry?
At 23, they were preventative, but moving into my late 20s, early 30s, they were definitely needed. I mean, I say I have white coat phobia is why I always tell them my blood pressure's high with the doctor's office, but the day that the doctor told me I needed to do something, my blood pressure was like 217 over 140.
Oh my gosh, Danny.
Yeah. It was like, she's like, I should probably send you to the hospital.
Right.
We didn't, but she gave me a huge dose of medicine, told me to go home and keep track of it. And if it didn't come down in the next 2 days, come back and we'll do something else.
Wow. So she just kind of she just like pretty much put it to you like that. Like, here you go.
Yeah.
Here it is, do something, and kind of just left the something up to you. And then you just happen to stumble across keto and steaks, and almost, for lack of a better term, the rest is history.
Yeah, pretty much.
Are you allowed, or at that time with the weight and that blood pressure, were you advised even like try working out or anything? Or did they want you to just like stay calm, Danny? Stay calm.
No, she told me I needed to get off my rear and do something.
I like your doctor.
Yeah, my doctor, she's like it's actually a nurse practitioner, but she's my age, so, and she talks to you like you're a person. She doesn't talk down to you. And
wow, imagine that, a doctor that talks to you and not at you.
Exactly.
No, that's awesome. That's how my current doctor is that I just found, and yeah, I'm stoked with her. Like I honestly couldn't be happier. She's super knowledgeable, super down to earth. Understands my way of eating, and appreciates it how I take care of myself. So once you find a doctor like that, it's overall a breath of fresh air.
Oh, for sure. Especially one that doesn't, when I say, I'm on keto, the previous doctor that didn't even care was like, oh, you can't eat all that fat, you're going to die of a heart attack. And this one's like, hey, no, I know how it works. Throw some salmon in there and I won't be mad at you.
Well, it is important to diversify the amino acid mix, and then the fatty acids that go along with all of that. So I would call that good advice.
It's not bad.
Every now and again isn't going to hurt anybody at all. So what's been your favorite part so far of everything with this keto journey and everything? What stuck out to you the most?
Like lifting weights. I did it all through high school, loved it, and then got to the point where, you get that mindset, why bother? And now I'm like, man, I feel off if I don't go. And that's just been, like, honestly, one of the best parts is I look forward to physical activity now instead of trying to dodge it.
No, man, that's great. And I've seen your posts, like, you're definitely getting after it. And, when on those days when you don't make it in the morning, what was that mental switch that made you force yourself to go at lunch?
I just cheat it was cheating myself. I wouldn't cheat anybody else by not going. I didn't make anybody else feel better or feel worse. It was just me. So
what is your favorite workout? Excuse me, is it lifting weights? Is it the jogging? What all do you do, and what do you enjoy the most?
Well, cardio is a bad word.
Okay, that's fine. That's
my
fine.
My cardio consists of our daycare is about a quarter mile away, and I'll walk down, pick up my daughter, and then she'll ride on my shoulders on the way home.
So
Okay,
you're
that's
lucky.
fair.
Yeah, I'm rucking.
That's
I do
awesome.
a quarter mile, 64-pound ruck.
It counts.
But no, my favorite part's lifting. I like to, I don't necessarily go heavy, but it feels good to be able to just keep moving my way down those dumbbells.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Do
So
you
would
work
you
out
say
at home? Do you go to?
you're-
I was just going to ask. Do you work out at home? Do you go to a gym or both? What do you do?
I have a 24-hour gym down the road from me.
Okay.
So,
I was gonna ask you, you a dumbbell guy, you a barbell guy? What's your go-to once you get warmed up and ready to rock?
I do dumbbells just because there's nobody there to spot me. So I don't want to, have a bunch of weight slammed down on my chest or not be able to get out from under it.
Smart
So,
man.
yeah. And I think the Smith machine, it has its place, but it's definitely not for bench press.
No, there's some good moves you can do on there, but I don't know. The fixed path of travel I don't think is ideal for most heavy situations.
No, for sure. Although there's this thing that I saw where you actually lay on the floor to do bench press, and it's supposed to help with your your bench max. And they say
Oh
to
yeah,
do that
yeah,
on the
yeah.
Smith machine.
Yeah, with man, I had you not
It's
brought
like
it up, I could have told you the name of it, but I think it's just a floor press actually.
it's like a half
But
press or something like that.
yeah, and then basically what it is since you're on the ground and obviously the plates are on the ground, it's only going to get so low. So the idea is that as you push this up, you're starting from roughly your weakest point when you're benching on an actual bench. So
Right.
you're strengthening that middle to top end in a safe manner because if the bar goes down, the plates hit the floor and you're still safe.
Exactly.
So, Danny, you said at one point you're 5'8". You're excuse me. You're at 310 pounds approximately, and that was what 3-4 years ago or so.
Yeah, about three and a half years ago. Yeah.
And so you had this conversation with your doctor. So tell us where you're at now.
I'm not at my lowest now because this whole COVID thing, I made my deal with my wife that I wouldn't go to the gym until she thought it was safe.
Okay.
But so I gained about 10 pounds. So I'm hovering right around 235 right now.
That's pretty freaking
Yeah,
awesome,
I was
man.
about to say. I mean, you're bouncing around 100 pounds gone. That ain't nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, I'm 80, right at 80. So I want to get down to my goal. I have a weight goal of 191, 199 just because I haven't seen it since 8th grade. But after that, it's a body fat percentage.
I'm right there with you.
8th grade. Wow.
Well, yeah, and that 8th grade number, that I'm not sure what it would have been for me, but yeah, that's insane. And I'm the same way. I want to get to around 200 pounds, and at 5'9" 200 pounds is still going to be a little beefy, but then I want to start working on that body fat percentage, drop that, but keep the weight, because that will also mean lean mass is increasing and all of that. And so that seems like a good trade-off to me. So
For sure.
so that's kind of a goal. And what other, health related goals do you currently have?
I said cardio is a bad word, but I want to start doing a little more cardio. I got a friend that has made a massive transformation, not doing keto, but made a massive transformation. And he sort of challenged me to run a 5K.
Oh, you can totally do that.
I have a feeling I could probably do it right now. It just wouldn't be a good time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, a 5K sounds a lot more daunting than it is. And then it's like one of those things that once you kind of you're going to suffer the first mile, and then the second mile, you're just, by the time you get done with the second mile, you're actually almost like kind of used to it. And then you're like, well, I've already done 2. No sense in stopping now. So before you know it, you can kind of jog a 5K and kill it in 30 to 40 minutes.
Right.
But I am with
30 minutes.
I'm with you on the intimidation of doing the first one, because I did a 5K a few years back, and it was a mud run 5K.
That's a different monster.
It is a different monster, but in not being a runner ever in my life, aside from running bases in baseball and in Little League and high school and whatnot, it just did not. I was never a runner. So that kind of freaked me out, because I had images of getting in the running and then trying to climb the fence on the mud run thing and falling and mud and fat kid third grade syndrome all over again. And I just was like, no, but I did it, and it actually worked out okay. So I echo the comments of just do it. Once you start going, you can knock it out, man.
That's the plan. I'm not necessarily start training per se, but definitely start implementing more cardio just for the goal of being able to run it. I think it's July that he wants to do it.
Oh yeah, you'll be good, man.
Oh, you can run a half marathon by then. I mean, you're fine.
Yeah,
No thanks.
Yeah, I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
Let's flash back to that episode of the Keto Medicine podcast.
Just listen to the first 5 minutes before you decide you want to run a half marathon.
This is stupid.
Yeah, it was very, very much along those lines with a couple of choice words in there.
I was gonna say I was pretty sure there was some editing done before it was actually put on the podcast.
Most of them naturally bleep themselves just because it was a really poor connection on the phone side. But yeah, it was yeah. Yeah, I don't remember which episode that was. I'm looking through and I'm trying to see. I think the name of it was "Run Berto Run" or something like that.
Yeah, if you want a glimpse into the mind of guy who has bad ideas and follows through, that's a good place to start.
That was episode number 40, and that was February 17th. So yeah, Run Berto Run is the name on it. But yeah, I'm not that crazy. Now I did do a mud run similar to what Jim did, kind of on a bet with a friend. My friend is a very long-legged 6'2", 6'3" guy, and he does, run a little bit more, but just the fact that he has long legs, he was miles ahead of me very quickly, even though it wasn't quite miles. But he's like looking back going, do you want me to? And I'm like, no, go. I'm not going to slow you down to my snail's pace because I totally did not train properly. And the hard part of that one, I think I've related this before, was that day was the hottest day on record that day in Kansas City. And we had gotten rain the night before. So it was very muggy. And that day was so hot, they stopped all of the further waves of the race after us. And basically they closed it down early. And in the end, 2 people died that weekend because they didn't properly hydrate. And the theme that was on the t-shirt that I still have was "I survived the Warrior Dash." It was literal in that case. So proper training is a good thing. Going into it knowing how to properly hydrate is also a good thing. I ended up skipping most of the obstacles and just walking around them because it was like I had zero energy to do anything more than trudge through and make, just literally suffer just to walk and or jog the remaining thing. So yeah, I don't suggest doing it.
Are you telling everyone the idea of running this 5K or what?
No, I'm not. At least not an obstacle course 5K is the first one. Train properly. That's probably the moral of the story. Anyway, sorry, big rabbit hole there. So Danny, what resources have you found as being some of the most valuable resources to help you along during this journey?
I use Pinterest a lot for cooking. I know most guys wouldn't admit to that, but I'm on Pinterest constantly. And there's a few YouTube channels I watch, and then podcasts, and then I actually get a lot of inspiration from the group.
Well, I'd say it's going to go both ways because when I see your posts of you at the gym and you not wanting to go in the morning, there's been times where I've gone at lunch because I've seen you say you went at lunch, and I'm like, damn it, if this guy's doing it, I got to do it too. It's like there'll be times where like I won't quite get the workout done in the morning, and then like I'll just so happen to be, a 15-20 minute drive from the gym at lunchtime, and I always have a spare set of clothes in the truck, and I'm just like, I could do nothing for the next hour. Or I could be like Daniel, follow his post there, and I'm like, we're going to the gym.
So what's your... Go ahead. Go.
Oh, I was going to say, one of the times that... So I did my chest workout, and it was crowded that morning for whatever reason, and I couldn't get any of my tricep work done. And I got home from work in the afternoon, and I text my wife, and I said, "Hey, dinner might not be ready when you get home. I'm going to be at the gym finishing my workout." And she's like, "You're weird. Why are you going twice?"
You're like, double.
Because I didn't get done.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you say that you love cooking. Tell us a little bit about some favorite stuff that you do in the kitchen.
Oh, I love smoking large chunks of beef and pork.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
I cheat though. I use a vertical propane smoker.
Hey, does it taste good when it comes out?
Nobody knows the difference.
There you go. A heat source is a heat source, man. Like,
yeah, for sure.
And then you can argue about the nuances, but whatever. If you're enjoying it and everyone's enjoying it, and you didn't lose any sleep, that's a win.
I was gonna say I have a nice stick burner too, but I can put a brisket on at 9 o'clock at night and go to bed, not have to worry about keep loading that stick burner. Yeah, for sure. Sous vide though, that's my new fun thing I've been playing with. You can take a cheap hunk of meat and put it in a water bath for 24 to 48 hours, and it comes out like prime rib or filet mignon.
Is it really that good? Does it really do that? Because I've thought about buying one as a Christmas present for myself.
Yeah, I took, what was it? An arm roast, which is, I don't know what it's good for, honestly. But
like soups and stews and stuff. I think like it's a tougher cut.
It's beyond tough if you try to cook it any other way than stewing it forever. But I took that and I smoked it for 4 hours. Got it internal temperature only got up to like 110, and then I vacuum sealed it with my seasonings and stuff. Put it down in the water bath for 48 hours. Pulled it out and then seared it off in my cast iron skillet. I tell you that was prime rib. That was better than any prime rib I've ever had.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And that chunk, like 3 pounds of meat, was $8. So
there you go.
Yeah, but I usually
Instapot those things.
Yeah, shred it up.
Like whenever I get an arm roast, I'll toss it in an Instapot with like a cup of bone broth and a bunch of butter and herbs and just go. Same concept. Just it's got to get cooked for a long time. You got to hit a high internal temperature to really get those things to break up and be tender.
See, that's what's great about the sous vide though, because I didn't go above medium rare.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, really? So it was it was a 132 is what I set the sous vide at, and it has a plus or minus of 1 degree. So it sat at anywhere from 131 to 133 for 48 hours.
Now that's interesting.
Yeah, that's what's great about it is because you can throw it. I wouldn't suggest putting a nice ribeye in there, but you could throw a ribeye in there and put it at like 135 for 6 hours, and it'll never be above 135.
Jim's gonna get himself one.
Well, now that we're talking about this, it was one of the things that we spoke about a week or so ago when we did our holiday show, and I've seen guys in the groups, and I've seen stuff on Pinterest, like you said, where people use it for cooking and everything, and just like, maybe that's the thing to do. I don't know. I haven't played with one to know how it all works or anything. So I hate to spend the money if it's not going to do what I want it to do, but everybody says it does what you want it to do. So maybe that's the thing.
And I didn't spend a whole lot. I think mine was on Amazon for like this whole kit with like vacuum bags and everything for like $75.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I've spent money on sillier things.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
What do you want to go ahead, Chris?
Does your family have any favorite meals? Things that you make that they like?
Yeah, my daughter actually requests crustless pizza. So
okay.
You just take all the pizza toppings that you would normally put on a crust and throw it in a casserole dish with I don't use pizza sauce. I use that big box store that undersells everybody that I don't like
Aldi?
To say their name.
Oh.
No. The one that's based out of Northwest Arkansas.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Are there 4 walls around it by chance?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. They actually have a can of organic crushed tomatoes that for half a cup's only 2 net grams of carbs.
Okay.
So I use that and spice it up a little bit and toss it on there and throw some cheese and bake it till the cheese is golden brown and delicious and go to town on it.
Yep. We would have called that pizza casserole in our house because we've done the same thing.
Yep.
Very good. Very good stuff. So let's start winding down. We're coming up on time, and we want to respect the time that you've graciously given us this evening. What that was your family's favorite keto food, and the answer can't be steak. But what is your favorite keto food?
See, I asked my wife this because I knew you were going to ask,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't say steak. And she said, "Well, we like the pizza, but I'm pretty boring. My go-to, and just I never get sick of it, is just a good like 8-ounce cheeseburger with a little bit of cheese and an over easy egg."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You had me until the egg.
I could literally eat that for every single meal, and some days I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too. My wife, I was cooking a hamburger the other day for breakfast. She's like, "What in the world are you doing?"
Yeah, that's my go-to breakfast protein. Frozen burger patties. I eat them like it was nobody's business.
Which ones do you use? Because there's no such thing as a good one that I've found so far.
Well, the ones that we get at our local grocery store, it kind of like almost their in-house brand. Like you turn around, and the back just says beef. Like that's the only ingredient.
Which is good.
Yeah, which is good. So we had a lot of luck with that one. If not, the other big box store that rhymes with Costco. they've got a pretty good sirloin patty as well. It's a bigger one. I think it's like a 1/3 pound. But we'll buy those in bulk, and like it's one of those things. Whenever we don't know what to cook, we don't feel like cooking. And honestly, my trick to any frozen burger patty is taco seasoning. If you can find a clean one, luckily our local grocery store carries a clean one. Taco seasoning and onion salt. That and a slice of cheese is all I season my burgers with. And everybody that tries them like thinks they're the most amazing things ever. And I'm like, it's just cheap taco seasoning, onion salt. That's all that's on there. It works great.
Wow.
Nice.
So on these frozen burgers, real quick, so do you have to thaw them out for a long time? Or, if you come home at 5:30, can you be eating by 6 o'clock, or what do you do?
Yeah, you could totally. You could cook them from frozen. Ground beef, you can cook from frozen. Those actually, even if you read, I happened to just read the instructions for the first time this week, actually. And it actually recommends that you cook them from frozen.
Huh. Okay.
So yeah, you can't go wrong. They're quick, they're easy. And it's like, I think, because I still track everything. So like, for the ones I get at the grocery store, like each patty's like 330 calories, I think. And obviously the macros line up because it's red meat. So, I mean, like even if you're super hungry, you throw 2 patties together and, throw some cheese on there and have the eggs any way you would like it. and, you're upwards of a 700 calorie meal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check out the ones they have at the competition to the store that rhymes with Costco.
I'm sure they have something. I'm sure.
If you could think of something that rhymes with Costco off the top of your head, I'll congratulate you.
Oh Lord. Okay, so let's go ahead and wind down here a little bit, because I do want to. As I said earlier, I want to make sure we honor your time. How can people connect with you online if they have questions, if they want to dig deeper or follow you in your journey?
So on Facebook, in the Facebook group, I'm Daniel Dean. And on Instagram, it's Danny82B. And I've been posting a lot more on Instagram than I have Facebook here lately.
Very cool. Well, for listeners, a very simple reminder. We do have all of our links on our website, theketomansclub.com, and we'd love to connect with you in any way that we can. So feel free to reach out and connect with us. If you found this information as beneficial, please share it with someone. If you want to help the engine put us in front of more people, you can always leave a review. And we talked about it a couple weeks ago. We are on Audible, and you should be able to go to the Amazon website and find our podcast and leave a review and a rating there as well, which again will feed the machines to get us in front of as many people as possible, which is a very good thing. So definitely have some good opportunities out there for that. Danny, it's been really great to have you here, get to meet you on a deeper level and hear your story. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Any other business to attend to, Berto, Jim?
I think we're good, man.
Yeah, great interview. Appreciate it, Danny.
Okay. Well, that's it for this week. Until next week, make sure to eat meat, lift heavy, sleep, and repeat. Thank you for joining us for the Keto Man's Club podcast. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Would you help us spread the word about the Keto Man's Club by sharing with your friends and family? We're available on all podcast platforms, so just search for Keto Man's Club and you'll find us. If you would like to connect with us, you can do so a number of ways. Our web address leads to our Facebook group, theketomansclub.com. That's TheKetoMansClub.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at Keto Man's Club Podcast. Lastly, if you have any comments or questions, feel free to reach out via email to ketomansclubpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you again for joining us today, and we look forward to hanging out with you again next week.